All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. I'm going to wait for some people to come on in. Good morning. I am having a different morning this morning, a very different morning. Um, sometimes you have ways of setting your schedule and your schedule just sometimes gets away from you. But one of my biggest things that I have a problem with is when people act like your schedule is their schedule and it's not. Their schedule is their schedule. Your schedule is your schedule. And the way it's going to roll is the way it's going to roll. You're not in charge of my schedule and I'm not in charge of yours. But if both of us have to meet on the schedules together, your schedule is still your schedule and my schedule is still mine. And the way I conduct my schedule and the way you conduct your schedule is two different things. You know, I just sometimes that's just frustrating to me. I don't get it. And the older people, the way people get, I just be trying to figure it out. Because my thing is if you're grown, then do it. If you're grown, then do it. And I understand sometimes people need a little extra help. They need, support systems in place and things of that nature. And that's fine with me. I have not a problem meeting you in those areas. However, at the end of the day, you're grown. So when you're grown and you get to that point where you don't need any help, then don't use it. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. You know how they used to tell you when you were young, figure it out. Figure it out. I think I'm at a point where I'm tired of figuring it out for other people. I want people to just figure it out for themselves. And that's the point of parenting. When you have children and they're young, you raise them to learn how to solve issues without needing your help. They should be able to solve issues without needing your help. Now, do you need help sometimes? Yeah, great, grand, and grander. However, they should be able to solve issues without needing help. People have to learn to become self sufficient. Self sufficient is something that you do by yourself. You be self sufficient. You have to find resources, things that can help you to be even more independent out in the world. That's for children coming up. That's even for adults. As adults, you have to be independent in some things. It shouldn't be that you need help all the time. It was like one day when I was at work and a person had told me that we were going to train. So we trained and we're training. And when you're training, at some point you should be picking up some of the things that you should be learning. It shouldn't be a training process every day, all day. Good morning, sister. How are you? It shouldn't be a training process all the time. Okay. So at the end of the day, that's how it goes. Then you have people who are not used to certain standards of things. When there's a standard set, you have to follow that standard. Okay. You can't just switch it up because that's how you feel. I know sometimes people emotions get involved, but you can't switch it up. Right. So we have to follow those. Okay. So that's like how my morning is going. I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is, though. And guess what? It's the beginning of the day, so things might change. Calmer, a little bit more calmer, because it is 8:30 and it's already up there. But anywho, that's me in my morning. Just now, seriously. All right. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining me on Coffee and Conversations with Carol, where every day we have thought-provoking engagement questions to give a little bit of inspiration and hope to everybody out there. And it's good. We have some good talking points, right? Good talking points. So yesterday we talked about, are you an ambivert, introvert, extrovert? Where do you fall in it? Some people fell in the middle. Some was extrovert. Some was introvert. And it was a good overall conversation. This morning, I've been having a lot of conversations with people about what they want, what's going on, what they're doing, and everything like that. So here's the thing. Want versus need. Want versus need. Is at any time does one outweigh the other? At any time does one outweigh the other? A want versus a need. I say this, when it comes to wanting things, it's normally something that you probably shouldn't have. It's probably a action or something you're going to do that you're going to regret later. When you're wanting things, because a want is something that you, it's like deep down, it's just like it really is more of a mind over matter thing to me when it comes to wanting, because you don't necessarily have to have it. It's just something that you wanted. I think it's different for everybody. They say different strokes for different folks. And so I think that it depends on what it is that you're wanting. Now, if you're wanting let's say a TV, a new car, a new house, wanting those things, I think are a little bit different. Good morning, cousin. Hey, cousin, love you. Hey. So I think those are different versus other things that people want. And then a need is something that you can use readily every day, right? So if you need it, so here's the thing. I want a car, I need a car, right? So if you want a car, you're probably going to be wanting a certain car, a certain color, um, let's see, a certain color, a certain brand, a certain year. You're going to want it the way you want it, right? And then if you need a car, I don't think you particularly worrying about those wants at that time, right? If you need a car, you're gonna just be taking a car that's gonna get you from point A to point B. It's not necessarily like, oh, well, it's not the color that I wanted, or oh, it's not the year that I wanted. If you need a car, you're just gonna get what you can get to get you from point A to point B, right? So I think in those instances, um, I don't know necessarily if one outweighs the other in that example, but that's the difference between a want versus a need. If you need a car, you're gonna just go ahead and take what's available. If you want a car, you're gonna wait around, save up probably for a down payment. You're gonna get what you want. You ain't gonna just be anything. You're gonna be getting exactly what your money is gonna pay for. And then that's another thing. Do you want a car? No. Can you handle a car note? Did you need a car note? So then you got to go down that line too. That's how that all goes. Good morning, sister. It all depends on the want versus the need. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Good morning. So we are talking about today want versus need. At any time, does one outweigh the other? Hey, girl. Hey, sis. Good morning. Is one right or is it wrong? I don't necessarily think it's right or wrong for a want or need. I guess it depends on what the want is and whether you act on it, whether it's wrong or whether it's right. And I think that a need, again, is something readily that you can use um, every day. That's what I think a need is. If you need something in your life, it's something that you're going to be readily accessible and something that you're using when it comes to certain things of a need. So a want versus a need. I heard someone tell me the other day, the heart wants what the heart wants. And then I read a status on Facebook that says it's time to give the heart what it wants. And then I kept reading it like, time to give the heart what the heart wants. But sometimes what our heart wants ain't always what we need, right? So that's what we're talking about today. Want versus need. At any time, does one outweigh the other? What do you guys think? I think that it just depends. I think it depends on, and I just gave my explanation. So I think it just depends for me, the want versus the need. I don't necessarily know about outweighing one from the other, but I think it just all depends. I really do. I think it all depends because you can really want something but not necessarily need it. It's just a want. It's not necessarily a need. It's a want. What say you? What about you, cousin? You think it's a want or want versus need? Does one outweigh the other? Or you, sister? One can outweigh the other depending on circumstance. Yeah, I agree with that. That one can outweigh the other. Do you think um it's a right or wrong having a want or need? Oh, no. Okay. You don't think it's right or wrong? You so there's not a right or wrong. What about okay, so she said one it depends on Sister Janine said one can outweigh the other depending on circumstances. She says, I asked, do you think one is right or wrong? She said no. And then here's the thing too with want versus need. What about the consequences that come with the both? And then Sister Janine said, I agree with you on what the need or want is. Example, it's wrong if I want someone's husband. That is wrong. That's honey, that's all. Yes, that is. That is wrong. If you want somebody's husband, yes, that is that. Well, yes, that is very wrong. We can't want somebody else's husband. We have to get our own. Okay, well, but I mean, you got people out there that do it. You know, the people are out there doing that. But then too, I was just looking up and watching some on TV where now they have speaking of that wanting someone they have a lot of people that are doing the polygamy thing where people are uh living in households of more than either one husband or more than one wife. I don't even know if it's even those titles. I don't know if there's any documentation of actually marriage certificates, I guess. I'm not real sure. I haven't did too much research on it, but I did just watch something the other day on TV where they were living in a household and I think the show was called it was it called Sister Wives? I don't know if it was a rerun or what, but they had that going on. It was a lot of them in there, about three or four, and everybody had kids. And I don't know if they all belong to what. I just kind of watched it for a second and then I turned it off and I was just like, what? Yeah. Yeah. So I don't, in that instance, was that a want or was that a need? I don't know. You know, I, hey, I'm not here to judge anybody. Judge not, least ye be judged, right? So my thing is, I'm not here to judge anybody, but would that have been a want or a need? I don't know because I don't know if I would want to participate in that. That's not something that I've ever looked at and said, "Yay, I want to do that." Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Not for Carol. Not I said that. Not I said me. So no. Mm-mm. But I agree with you on the need or want is an example. It's wrong if I want that one is totally wrong. I think it's wrong to want anything that somebody else got. You know, I think that we all have to work toward what it is that is good for us, if that makes sense. And when you think about a want versus a need, wanting to do something or wanting to achieve something or goal, um whether we need to achieve the goal or whether we need that marker is a different thing too. For example, You can want to be I can want to be a doctor, but do I need to be a doctor? Like I can want to be a doctor, but saying I'm a doctor and then having to do what doctors have to do is a whole nother ball game, if that makes sense. Like I can say I want to do that, but do I want the responsibility of it, the work hours, all of that good stuff that come with it? It's bigger than just having a title and going in a room and saying, hey, it's a lot of stuff on the back end that we don't see. So is that something that you really, really want? Or is it just something that you saw and thought that it was good to do? You know? So I can look at it from that point too. And I just don't know if that's necessarily what I want. So it all depends. A lot of times people want to do a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily make it right, but it doesn't necessarily make it wrong either. Hello, good morning. We are talking about want versus need. At any time, does one outweigh the other? Does any time, and we have already spoke that at some times it can outweigh. It can outweigh um the other depending on the circumstance and the situation. It can outweigh the other. It depends on the circumstance and the situation. One can outweigh the other. A want or need. A want or need. Want versus need. And is there a standard set for that? And is it a fair trade-off? Is it a fair trade-off? Me wanting this versus me needing this? Like I said, I saw that where it said the heart it's time. It said someone told me the heart your heart wants what the heart wants. And then it said it's time to give the heart what it wants. But then does it depend on what the heart wants? That is there you have it. Want versus need. Because is there some things that the heart need versus what the heart wants? Which one is we choosing? And then again, at any time, does it outweigh the other? Because you giving your heart what the heart wants. And then what are the consequences behind doing that? What are the consequences behind doing what we want versus what we need? What are the consequences behind that? So you're gonna always have consequences behind. It says for every action, there's a reaction. For every reaction, there is a consequence. So we have to think about that. Want versus need. Which one are we choosing? Does one outweigh at any time? Does one outweigh the other? Is it right or is it wrong? Still kind of we tattle in between that. And then what are the consequences behind us choosing those things, right? So we have all of those things that are presented to us this morning when it comes to what are the thought-provoking questions that we thought of today. And that is it. Want versus need. What the heart wants is what the heart gets. What the heart needs is what the heart needs. You gonna give it to that too? Are you giving it both? Are you giving it what it want and giving it what it need? Or are you just in between the two? Are you picking one and running with it? Which one? I always say people have choices that we have to make. And when we make those choices, we have to, again, live with those consequences because, again, we're giving the heart what the heart wants. Are we giving the heart what the heart needs? And like I said, my morning started off pretty rough. I have a lot of appointments today. I have a service that I have to attend today that I want to attend. I want to attend the service. I need to attend the service. And then we just have a lot of things going on. So my day started off just like that. Popped up out of bed. It popped up out of bed. Yes, popped up out of bed. So today we talked about again want versus need. At any time, does one outweigh the other? Is it right or wrong? And what are the consequences? Okay. Um, I want you all to remember this. Take perspective on your life. Take perspectives on your life. Sit back, think about where you are, and take a perspective. Just overall look. It's okay to reflect and say, hey, where am I at today? Where do I want to be? Where am I going? You sometimes you have to take a step back and reflect. Don't forget we're past the 6 month mark in this year. So we're already in July. June marked the 6th month. So that means half of the year is gone and we have half of it left. And so it's okay to sit back and say, where am I at? What am I doing? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? How do I want to end up and be? Making short-term goals and looking at them each week or each month at the end of any of these short-term goals is okay. And a short-term goal can be 2 weeks. A short-term goal can be a month. A short-term goal can be 3 years. Short-term goal can be two. Where do I want to be? Where is it that I'm at? How can I make this better? How can I make this different? So that is what I want you all to take with you today. Take perspectives on your life. Okay. Take perspective. Carol takes perspective on hers. You take perspective on yours. All right. Always remember to live, love, never ever stop laughing, and always find some room in your heart to forgive. There's nothing wrong with forgiving people. Always find some room in your heart to give. It makes you happy. All right. All right. And just remember there's one love. If we all remember to love, what a better world this will be. I will be with you guys promptly at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow on Wednesday. Wednesday. I remember I used to go out and used to be like, women in wangs, women in wangs. But we're not doing women in wangs. You have a good day too, sister. I want you guys to have a good day. I will see you tomorrow at 8:30, which is Wednesday. And don't forget, Thursday is coming up. So you thought it, I said it. My inbox is already filling up with some things. So it's going to be real juicy on Thursday. We're going to get into some real adult stuff. Y'all wait. Okay. But I love you guys. You guys have a great day. I will do the same. I will see you tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. for Coffee and Conversations with Carol. Thank you. Link in my bio.